Well, hello everyone again. As you can see, I've actually done a little building and modifying on my man cave. I had originally a shed. Now as you can see, it's been built on to. And if you look close, you can see where it joins together. I know I've got to paint the back later to match in better, but as you can see, we now have basically two sheds joined together. Went from a 10 by 16 to a 20 by 16. Now, I also added in, rather than using solar lights this time, I just used the old school pull cord lights. And I have an actual real door this time, which is really nice because the shed doors sometimes are kind of hard to deal with. Put me in just a regular window unit in the front, just like the back. Now we're coming in. To me, this is a little fancier than my last man cave, the way I had it done. Actually, I used Luan the first time. This is actually beadboard I got from my local parts supplier. Well, Pensacola Salvage in Monroeville. They have a little bit of everything. As you can see, I have all the signs up to kind of mark this is mine or whatever. You also see I put in an actual bar this time. And that wasn't as hard as it looks, mainly 2x4s and mounting it into the wall. That's mainly what you need. Put my TV on top of it. Have my shelves with my cans and bottle collection. Let me shut this door so you can see the full door. Of course, the old Porky sign that I had before. Jack Daniels. You can see the different signs I put up. This is got a little more Alabama stuff this time. So you can see also a few more beer signs. These are some old tins from Bear Bryant's career. Actually, this is from, I think, 81 when he became the winningest coach in college football. And this is one all the way back to the Iron Bowl with him and Shug Jordan back in the 70s. Of course, I have some other stuff put in here. And I've put in a few beer signs, Blatz, and then London Pride. I'm not familiar with London Pride. It's not from around here in Alabama. I've heard of it, but I've never drank it. You can see I'm started on a new area here with signs as well. Just letting you get a little bit of a look at what all's in here. Also, went to a friend of mine. He owns a consignment shop, or as they say, a junk store, used store, whatever. These were probably from the 1940s. I did a little bit of changing on this one. It had legs at one point. It's now a TV stand. As you can see, I use it to house a computer I use to run my TV sometimes. It worked out really well. Also, believe it or not, one of the best places if you want signs or just little stuff at a good price is Temu. And I know people say, oh, that's junk. But I'll be honest, I've been impressed with some of the stuff. This little card I really like, and it was less than $10. Many of the signs that I've got up, the Sanford & Son, the MASH, and this middle one that's kind of a joke, talking about this building's on the National Registry, all of these came from Temu. And to me, they look really nice. They add to the place. Okay, now you've seen, this is similar to what the original building was. Now let's see what I put in the back. Basically, you go from the bar area into the old part. And as you can see, got a full bedroom in here now. Now, again, my friend at the thrift store, this bed frame, a lot of that came from him. I also already had the file cabinet, had this little table. I am going to replace probably the little table later with something better, but right now I think it looks great. These pictures, two of them I got at the local dollar store. They had $12 on them, went to pay for them, $2 a piece. I was shocked. I also have all of my diplomas up here on the wall. Of course, my Don Julio sign from when we went to Mexico years ago. More of my diplomas. I'm waiting on a sign for up there that's coming in. Again, shelves. Just little small things. I don't want nothing big falling off hitting me while I'm asleep. And of course, you can buy like pictures like this. You can buy for little or nothing as long as you just get the canvas. And then you just get a frame and fit it. Here's some more stuff. My mom actually gave me these in the gold frames. These two fish and the picture here. This is a piece by my daughter. She's an art major. She did that for me. Yeah, of course, had to have a TV in here. Just something nice to kick back when you're trying to rest. Throw on the TV. Here's another piece I got from my buddy. This one actually had the legs. I took the legs off the other one. From my understanding, this is what people used to use to put their dishes up. I've used it for more or less a TV stand than for storage, but hey, from my understanding, these were really a big deal back in the day. Of course, we've got another window unit here. That's great. You go from one to the other. This, a lot of people, is probably their favorite thing in the whole building. It's funny. I made this door myself out of 1x6s. I just basically built it like an old corn crib door or like maybe a barn door people used to build a long time ago. And I stained it. Got a few signs on it. Of course, outhouse. That was a joke. And of course, this sign here. Over here, I've got some signs before you go in. Of course, this is more of a trying to look like the beach. So I've got something here. I believe that's Kenny Chesney. Picture of me and some legends there. Hank Jr., me, Willie Nelson, Johnny Cash, Waylon, and Jimmy Buffett. I did that with ChatGPT, just making pictures myself. Picture of the world famous Floribama that I printed off and framed, and of course Dixie beer. Now let's go in here and check out the last parts. As you can see, I put in a bathroom. Now, I'll tell you the truth. This could easily be a tiny house or a man cave. This right here looks like a shower, but it's actually, it is just a closet that I built. As you can see, it's got shelves, everything. I just basically built a giant closet. And I put this up so it'd be easier to get to the stuff rather than having a door there in the way. Of course, I've got my Corvette sign, got a lot of old car tags. This is kind of a tribute to my dad and to where this sink here came from. My dad was a mechanic for years when I was a kid, before I went on to college and did other things. And he was kind of a pack rat. Whenever they would restore things or whatever, they decided they were going to restore the gas station, and they tore out the bathrooms. Of course, he was first wanting all the stuff they took out. Well, he got several of these sinks. Well, y'all, this was back in 1985. This sink has been laying upside down behind my mom's house by a shed for almost 40 years. I took it, cleaned it up, put a new faucet in it, built me this little vanity, and there you go. It works. As you can see, it's like brand new. Also, some more Bear Bryant stuff, Alabama stuff. The Gulf station logo, I did that because that was a Gulf station this came through. That's where my dad worked. This mirror, see how fat I am in, but this mirror is probably 60 or 70 years old. My wife had got it at an estate sale, and it sat under a shed at our house, and I was afraid it was going to rot, but I got it, took it, spray painted it back gold, cleaned it up. It's now my mirror in the bathroom. Of course, some more AI images. Y'all, I wouldn't have been but maybe 3 years old when this picture was supposed to take place, so it tells you AI can do a lot. More tags, more stuff up there. This is kind of my tobacco area. Of course, some other things. Some of these are very old ads. Others are just reproductions. Like I said, Temu's wonderful for stuff like that. Few came off of eBay, but most of them from Temu. Finally, this is the sidewall. More, AI pictures that I did. Of course, me shaking hands with JFK, smoking cigars with Al Capone. Then there's The Sopranos, The Goodfellas, and Godfather. I thought all three needed to go in here. Finally, of course, every king needs a throne. There it is. Finally, the last thing I'm going to show you is these little shells. You notice this is a cart. Now, it didn't weigh enough really to be moving it or pushing it around, but again, came off of Temu. I just popped a screw in 2 places. It's perfect for shelves and something like this. You notice I've got a thing of toilet paper, some peroxide, and even spray in here in case things get too bad. It's a good way to hold things, and I think I only paid like $5 for the cart. So it just gives you some ideas. Again, full cord lamp. You just wire it in yourself, plug it in. It's good to go. Now, of course, finally my doors had a little bit of an area I didn't want to have to repaint, so I just said, hey, I'll put posters. I got the Beatles and Have Animal House. Now, I know overall some people, this may not be their cup of tea, what I've done. But to be honest with you, this could easily be either a man cave or a tiny house if somebody wanted to do it that way. If I were to improve just a few things, this could easily be a tiny house. I could put it in a kitchen pretty easy where my bar is if I just added a stove or a nothing else. You know, some kind of cooktop or some type of some microwave and some other stuff. Of course, I would need a new sink in here, which would add to some expense, and I'll have a sink up here too. And of course, if I change my furniture around, just have my TV aimed this way rather than long ways, I could easily do it because this would be a whole nother room that would just be empty. I already have a fridge and the storage stuff over there for basically a kitchen. Also, as I said, in the bathroom could easily, where that closet is, could have a sink. Could have a shower. I just chose not to have a shower because, let's face it, I'm outside. I'm not trying to move out. I've got a house right next door. I love my wife. I love my kid. I don't want to be away from them. This is just my place to kind of get away and think about things and kind of relax. Me and the dog come out here. I might practice music. I'm thinking about later getting some software to do like recording probably in the bedroom. I've got got my guitar and all in there. But overall, I'm not trying to move out. That's why I didn't do all of that. But say if somebody was just starting out wanting a house or something, you could probably build at least the shell of this for around 10 grand, maybe even less. What we used, I got my brother-in-law to build the shell for me for the front, on the front of the original shed. The original shed I bought was around, I'm going to estimate $5,000. This front part, again, ran close to $5,000 being built. So, you know yourself, the shed company's got to make a little money. And, of course, my brother-in-law doesn't work for free either. So, he made a little bit off of it. So, if you built it yourself, if you knew what you were doing, I think you could easily build just the shell for under 10 easily. Luckily, I have a place like Pensacola Salvage around me. This beadboard, they had it on sale. Basically, if you bought 10 sheets or more, they took off $2 a sheet. I wound up getting this beadboard for less than $20. Of course, I even put it in the roof and all. I really like the way it turned out. It looks like old wood or old paneling in a way, kind of the way I grew up seeing. Again, like my recliner here, that was from my buddy with a thrift store, just like the table here. The couch was my mama's. She got a new couch. She said, hey, do you want this one? Oh, yeah, I'll take it. Some of the stuff I did buy, like the fridge, the TV. Of course, I added in a little sound system in here. That's more or less computer speakers I've turned into a surround sound deal. The mirrors and things, my wife goes to a lot of estate sales. She looks out for me. She's got me this mirror here, this Coca-Cola mirror. The Heineken mirror was my dad's. He had it in our old pool room where we used to shoot pool. The Magnum mirror also was in the pool room. Finally, the Killian's mirror my wife gave me, I think for an anniversary one year. She called it at an estate sale. Very good price. But overall, what I'm trying to say, well, finally, the flooring. If you're in the Monroeville area, you might want to check out XL Flooring. They have some very good flooring there for a good price. This was actually a remnant piece. Now, of course, this got a little place that I tried to work on myself, and I'm still working on it. But it didn't lay down quite the way I wanted it to, but I'm sure I can fix it over time. I'm just going to have to look at it again. But it turned out really good. You got to remember one thing. Once I got on the inside, I did all of this myself. I had no help. Even the roof, I put these sheets up myself. I basically did a dead man from one side of the room to the other using 2x4s, and I used that to help me line it up. Of course, see the 2x4s, 1x4s, 1x6s. That's why people use molding, y'all. You make mistakes cutting your paneling or whatever, that covers it. But overall, somebody's just starting out, or say you want to have a house of your own rather than renting, or you want to move to the country. Y'all, you could easily get by on this as long as you don't have a lot of people. Say if it was just you and a wife or whatever, you and a girlfriend, whoever. Hey, you easily could live in this. I really believe that. The only things I see that could pose a problem, you might need to be just a tad bigger to have a bigger kitchen, and maybe a tad bigger just to have better closet space. Because like I said, my closet would be a shower in a regular one of these things if it was a tiny house. But overall, you can look around. I still have plenty of room. There could be, say, a closet or storage areas put in. I just didn't go that route because, again, I'm not living in here full time. I just come out here a lot and hang out. It's been great talking with you again, and I hope you enjoyed this video because, to be honest, I hope it does help somebody. I've seen people moving into sheds doing this and that, and at first I thought it was kind of silly, but now I see this could be the way to go, especially considering mobile homes are even becoming so ridiculous in price. And plus, I just like the idea of repurposing stuff. And to me, this place reminds me of someplace older than what you see today. It reminds me a lot of my childhood, maybe like my grandparents' place and older places when I was growing up I'd see. But thank you for watching, and if you have any more questions, let me know. Again, even this bedspread, Temu. So that tells you right there, there's a lot of good stuff you can get on Temu. Thank you, and have a great day.